So just a brief intro to my friend and fellow coach and, athlete, total baller of an athlete. John is a powerlifter, but has an extensive background in everything athletic. I mean, everything from CrossFit to marathoning to, the guy is just, he was a combat field medic. And so I love getting this guy on my table, and I nerd out, and I learned so much from this guy, from anatomy, physiology. I mean, just the background of this guy is so extensive. And but just has an incredible depth of knowledge of years and years and years of experience, and now is basically in this powerlifting zone or field of life. I think I just saw him on Instagram this morning doing like a 595 bench press. Is that 617? Yeah, something like that. So y'all, and what we're going to go over, like some of the stuff here that he's going to be sharing is basically the fundamentals of back squatting from a powerlifting perspective, so how to generate maximal force and force production, and then also some basic fundamentals on bracing. And bracing, y'all, that's huge. That is a game changer. We've been applying some of these things here at TF Cause, and everything from seeing an athlete where they look unstable in the hole, there's loss of force production. You're trying to figure out like what's going on with their feet or their ankles, and you're trying to figure it out, and all of a sudden you say, hey, let's brace properly. You get the breath, the core, spine stabilized, and all of a sudden it's like, whoa, that just looked dramatically different. Personal testimony. I avoided squatting for 4 years because of a herniated disc in my back. Bulging disc, herniated disc, L4, L5, and squatting was the worst thing ever. In the last year, after applying these bracing techniques, I'm back to squatting. That's life-giving, y'all. So super, super awesome. Praise the Lord. You're like, yeah, praise the Lord. Anyway, without further ado, John Wong.
With that, we actually have to pivot our board time because this is the time for the board meeting.
Oh.
So I know with that introduction, you're like, but I want a back squat. I'm sorry, you're a board member. So if you are in room 6, if you are on
Do you want this?
There's a lot of people. All right, sorry, board members. Heavy as the head and whatnot.
All board members, if you sit on a local board, then you're heading into that room. If you sit on a local board, please head into that room.
It's all right. All your trainers here will take notes for you. I promise. I'll make them. All right, good morning, everybody. My name's Johnny. I'm going to do my best over the next hour to live up to the reputation that Andrew has given you all about me. A little background, I did 20 years in the Army. I did a lot of, he was not exaggerating when he said the range of physical competitions that I've participated in go from marathon running to sumo wrestling to powerlifting to weightlifting to functional fitness, all that stuff. Andrew and I started working together about this time last year, right? Yeah, my shoulder was all dorked and I was doing a bench press only competition, and he actually I can do this now because of him, so he can squat because of me. I can reach over my head. We're good. But in the functional fitness community, 2 things that I've noticed that kind of just get glossed over. 1, individual adaptation of movement to body mechanics, and 2, bracing. Fortunately, I have a 12-year history of competing as a powerlifter, and my sport is specifically individual adaptation to body mechanics and bracing. So what we're going to do right now is we're going to talk through that first part. We're going to call it zeroing the squat because individual adaptation of body mechanics is a mouthful, and I've already said it 3 times. So zeroing your squat. What I would like everybody to do is close your eyes. Now, point to the person at your table that has the worst, ugliest squat. Okay, let me get my guy with the hat and the white shirt. You come up here. And you over there in the corner, come on up here. So normally what we do is I've been doing Train the Trainers over the summer and the spring at the Brothers Krause Trinity Fitness. I don't have time to do it with all of you. I would love to. So what I want you guys to do is come up to the stage so I can stop using this microphone and break into groups of about 7 to 8. What we're going to do is I'm going to talk these 2. What's your name? Diana, Johnny, nice to meet you. Shane, Johnny, nice to meet you. I'm going to talk these 2 through what I do called zeroing the squat, and I want you guys to do it in your groups and do your best to pay attention to what I'm saying. If you have any questions during this block of instruction that apply to less than 2 people in this audience, hold it for the end. If you have any questions that applies to probably half of this audience, go ahead and raise your hand and ask. I don't know what I don't know. So if I'm talking over anyone's head, be like, hey, Johnny, that was some Army jargon. Could you clarify that for me? Or whatever.
Do you want a mic?
No.
Okay.
No, I'm good.
He's like, I got a voice. Let me be. All right.
I've been 20 years in NCO in the Army. I don't like microphones. I have this diaphragm, which is important, right? Because we're about to talk about how to apply that. So the first thing for the squat, not to get into too much body mechanics, but your hips are 3 parts, right? You have your acetabulum ball, you have your femoral neck, the long part, and then you have the long part, the diaphysis of your femur. Every human being, these 3 things are different diameters, different angles, and different lengths. So, the gluteus maximus, right? Acronym is the biggest muscle in your body. It's your primary driver. So what we're going to do is we're going to get these 2 athletes to get their body in a position where they can use that muscle the most. Alright? So what I want you guys to do is get a little space so you're not kicking each other. And everyone pick one person from your group of like 5 to 8 people and have them do this so you can watch it. Because we're all trainers here, right? Okay. Yeah. If you have what I like to call feet pillows on, some running shoes, some joggers, some stuff with like a 4-inch cushy heel, take those stuff off. If you have feet pillows on, they will mess up the way you're going to squat. They will have you pass out with your feet under. If you don't know, you'll have your Alright, so squeeze your glutes together like a good team squeezes and get a feeling for how those glutes feel like they're activated. At this point, the double shoulder width, it should feel a little weird. Like the inside and the outside part of your glutes that normally like fire with everything else and the only thing going. That's because we're out of position. But you have to start wide so we can bring it into where we want. Does that make sense to everybody? Okay, so now what I want you to do, I want you to leave your right foot planted and take your left foot and move it in just like an inch. That's it. Now squeeze them glutes again. Good couple times. Feel how it's different? So now what we're doing is we're getting those femoral necks in line so your body can apply pressure without it hitting the back of that acetabulum. Your body is smart, it will protect itself, so you can't flex if you can't move that range of motion safely. That make sense? Yep. All right, so what we're gonna do now, take a couple, one more, right foot stays where it is. I don't want to see any right feet moving. Left foot, an inch towards you, and then chin. Now give it another squeeze, stand up straight. Give it another squeeze, because this is where we're gonna squat from. Like our positioning will be different, but that straight torso, that's important. All right? So give them glutes a couple squeezes, just so you get very familiar with what that feels like. All right? Better or worse? Do you feel like you're squeezing more of your glute or less of your glute?
I feel like it's off balance.
Okay, good. All right, another half inch in. Now we're doing small increments. Give it another couple squeezes. And you'll know when you hit that spot because you will feel your entire glute from insertion to origination light up. The whole thing will squeeze. You'll be like, oh, that's my glutes. That's where those are. All right? Good? All right, another half inch. Just a little bit. We're making small increments now. All right? Give it another squeeze. So it's going to keep feeling better, and then you'll come in again, and it'll be like, oh, that wasn't as good. So that's what we're going for right now. So come in again, give me another squeeze.
I get it. Like I can feel.
Yep.
I don't feel it here or
Yep.
here.
All you want is right
So,
here.
but
Gluteus maximus. The maximus of the gluteus. Biggest muscle in your body. All right. Good? Still feeling better? Feeling better? Yeah. All right, take another half inch in. All right, you're going to have that. So when she was like, no, that wasn't as good, that's what we're looking for. So go back out to where you were. Still feeling better, feeling worse?
Feeling better, yeah.
All right, go back in.
I feel like I'm at an optometrist.
Camera 1, camera 2. Well, so the toes are next. The toes are next. Right now, I want everyone's toes pointing as forward as you can.
Oh.
So the toes angle is going to be dependent on the angle of your acetabulum, medical words. But for right now, we're trying to get that femoral neck where it needs to be. All right. You good?
Good.
All right, take another half inch in. Give it another squeeze, better or worse?
About the same.
All right.
I feel like an eye exam.
Come back in, another half inch. Squeeze, better or worse?
Same.
Okay, cool. So come back out. That's where we are. So if we look at these two athletes, right? We have two different builds. We have two different measurements. Look at how wide their feet are comparatively. So anyone ever tells you, or you ever tell your athletes, please don't because I'll track you down, everyone needs to be 30 inches out and 15 degrees away from center line, like, nah, not at all. Look at these two athletes, okay? So now what we're gonna do is we're gonna keep our heels planted and take our toes all the way out, like weird duck, I feel like I'm a little off balance. Yeah, exactly. We do one of these, that's where we want. Now, we're gonna do the same process, keeping our heels planted, squeeze some glutes again. If you can't like stand up, like, okay, bring them in a little bit. All right, part one of squatting is standing, right? All right, so now don't squat yet. Don't get ahead of me. I saw you. All right, so now we're gonna do the same thing. We're gonna squeeze those glutes, let them go. Squeeze those glutes, let them go. Take your toes just a couple degrees in, keep your heels exactly where they are, squeeze your glutes again, let them go. You're gonna start feeling a difference in the contraction quality that you can get in your glutes. It feels real silly, that's why we're all doing this making eye contact. No one looking at me as opposed to everyone else, so it's a little less weird. Andrew, or Jason, don't get ahead of me. Burpees. All right, so, we're gonna keep doing this, moving our toes in until we have that same eureka moment where it's like, oh, my whole glute just lit up. Yeah. That's what we're looking for, all right? So take your toes in a little bit, give them a squeeze. It should keep getting better until it doesn't anymore. Right there. Okay, so now I want you both, what I want you to do specifically, right? Tight, not sir, please don't. But tight core. Push your knees out. Not yet, though. And then I want you to pretend like, have you ever been camping?
Yeah.
All right, so making a number 2 in the woods, right? You don't want to get it in your pants, right?
Got it.
That's what you want. So if your feet are a little bit wider than you usually are when you squat, think about trying to make a number 2 in the woods, all right? You want knees out, hips back. My man here is a little more narrow, so what I want him to think of is keeping that weight centered on the middle of your foot. So your center of gravity should be right in front of where your ankle is. And now we're just gonna take everyone now, go ahead and take a squat, focus on staying upright, and if you're wide, knees out, hips back. Push knees out, push knees out, push knees out. There we go, wonderful. And then back up. All right, so what we just did, most of us just did, some of us did a couple times, is use your glutes as your prime driver for your squat. That is something that in functional fitness, because I did functional fitness for about 4 years, no one ever taught me how to do. They're like, yeah, just squat down, get crease of the hip below the crease of your knee. Like, okay, that's like in the army, they taught me how to run was like put one foot in front of the other and keep doing that until we tell you to stop. Like, it's a skill, it's a movement, all right? So what I want everyone to do is break up into your groups. Everyone, pick your feet up, move your feet around. Now, get back into that position, the same way that I talked everyone through. Thank you guys for coming. So, after so start out super wide, and then just walk it back in. So while we're in our training groups and we're doing those test squats, watch your partner's heels and feet. If they are rolling or lifting, it might feel like you're in the optimum spot, but I promise you you're not. Those feet should stay solid the whole time. So that's one of our cues that we look at as trainers, right? If something's moving and that's not pushing the bar up, then I need to stop that from moving. Does anyone have any questions about zeroing your squat for the good of the group? Anything I glossed over? Anything you feel like talking about while I'm talking? No? Cool. All right. I have a question up here. 1 second, I'll get to the bonus. The question up here is it weird that it's wider than I normally squat? No. Most people in the functional fitness community have that whole Kelly Starrett thing, 30 inches, 15 degrees off of center line or whatever, and that's just where we're squat. Or you come from a linear sport where like you're a sprinter or a jumper or something, your stance is naturally narrow. That's where you feel your power generation is. Power and strength are not the same. For strength, glutes. For power, everything. Does that make sense? Yeah. All right, next question over here.
So you have somebody who squats and coming up on their heels.
Yes.
On their toes. And that's the width of their foot and...
Okay, so the question was if there's rocking on the foot where they're coming up towards the balls of their feet on the concentric movement, coming up, is that a width issue? My man over here. I put people on the spot, it's a thing, sorry, don't take it personally. So I was watching him squat and he had the same thing. When he went to reverse direction out of the hole, weight shifted forward, heel came up. What that means is you need a small adjustment. So I would have that athlete get into the hole, get in their squat stance, get in the hole, and then just do small movements, have them come up again, see if it rolls. If there is any instability in the foot at any point in the squat, that is an alignment issue. Because everything starts with your feet. They're how you apply pressure to anything, right? Mm-hmm. All right, so does anyone have any other questions about squatting? I believe, Brothers Cross, I have like 30 minutes left? Yeah. Okay.
Question.
Yes?
How does this translate over into your Olympic lifts and Ollie lifts and all the stuff that obviously...
So all of this stuff you do, Olympic lifts, Ollie lifts, obviously with a front squat, right? Your position's gonna be a little different because you're using quads for your front squat. So keep doing that. Don't try and front squat or clean and jerk with your glutes. That's called a starfish receive, and that's how you tear hip adductors, right?
Okay.
So don't starfish receive.
We've seen it.
So it's one of those things, so if you think about it, right, the small muscles of your thigh are where? They're on the inside, right? So why would you use those to receive as much weight as possible in the most compromised position you can be in? Keep landing here, keep doing your quad dominant front squat for your cleans. For Metcons, I was talking to some ladies over here. If you squat like this, for, I don't know what you guys do, like 30 squats for time or something like that. Something kooky, right? All right. For your Metcon, if you squat like this, at the beginning, you will be slower. You most likely will not be able to move as much weight. But if you train it and you work it, your speed and the amount of weight you can move will surpass what you can using a non-optimal body position.
Wow.
Like I was saying over here, it's like, I know, I'm old, all right? I know probably 3/4 of you don't know how to drive manual. But the thing about a manual was the clutch, right? When you first started driving manual, it was slow as heck getting into first gear. And you were rolling backwards, everyone was honking at you, the car died a couple times. But you kept doing it, and then it becomes second nature, and you just do it smoothly and you do it quickly. Same thing with squatting like this. If you're not used to using your glutes as your prime driver, once you do, you're gonna be that much more efficient. Does that make sense to everyone? All right, cool. Who's ready to do some bracing and squats? Woo! All right, so what I need, everyone break up into your tables that you were sitting at, and one person from each table come grab one of these bars. All right, so the second part of this practical exercise, which will now start, is called bracing. So the whole point of a squat, right, is to generate force with your body and apply that force to two things. One, the ground, two, the bar. So I'm gonna say a word today a lot. It's called interthoracic pressure. And that is what's going to create the highest carryover of the force you're generating with your body into the bar. All right? So interthoracic pressure, the whole idea. Well, Johnny, when I'm doing my Metcons, I'm breathing really heavy. I need a lot of oxygen. Cool, got it. You can still hold your breath for a half second while you squat.
Yeah.
Like I said before with the manual transmission, it'll just take a little bit for you to get used to. But trust me, it is better. If you watch any of the guys at the games, in between each rep, they go every time they get the brace. So that's something we gloss over. So what we're gonna do right now is I want everyone to stand up, up. If you put your feet cushions back on, I got bad news for you. You're gonna have to take them back off the squat. Anyways, so bracing. Bracing happens in two phases. We're gonna focus on the air for right now. Then we're gonna get the bar on the back and we'll show everyone how to brace their back and their hips. But the air. So what I want everyone to do right now is breathe in as much air as you can. Go for it. Big, big, big breath. Hold it, hold it, hold it, hold it. Now, taking a breath through your nose. Don't get that much more air, right? All right, breathe out before everyone passes out. Now, When everyone catches your breath and your heart rate gets back down to like sub 100. Breathe in as much, not right now, when I tell you to, breathe in as much air as you can through your nose and hold it. All right? Ready, go. I heard some premature sniffing over here. All right, now, through your mouth, as much air as you can. See how much more air you got? All right, let it out. All right, everyone see how much more air you got when the second breath is in through your mouth? That's because you have two phases. I'm not going to get into anatomy. You're filling up all of this with air as opposed to 3/4 of this with air. Does that make sense? So, again, because every time I do a talk through at the Brothers Cross Trinity Fitness, I never hear people bracing properly while we're doing the squats for the practical exercise. I rarely hear people. Let's do it all again. So, all the way through the nose, and then the mouth. Go. All right, now the last phase, squeeze it down like you're about to get punched in the gut by Mike Tyson. Push out in every direction. All right, breathe. All right, so that locking down and squeezing everything, that's where you're gonna make your money, all right? It's really weird, right? It's something that we don't do a lot, Valsalva maneuvers or holding your breath or whatever you wanna call it, but for maximum expression of strength, which is at like the top of your guys' little triangle thingy, right? This is how you get there, all right? Any flexion or movement you have in your torso during any part of that movement is pounds off the bar getting absorbed by your body. That make sense? All right, so now the fun part. Let me get two people I haven't picked on yet. Two people come up here, I don't care who it is. Come on, let's go.
Yeah, Laura!
Hey, I can represent.
Heck yeah, represent that shit. All right, so what we're gonna do now is we're gonna talk through bracing and the descent of the squat. What I want you guys to do is face up this way. So like one, there we go. Yep. All right, get the bars onto the back. Is that a comfortable weight for you guys to hold a little bit? Okay, so what they're both gonna do is they're going to zero their feet. So for the first, I don't know, for the next week, if you guys actually want to listen to me, start every squat like this. Bring it out wide, bring it in, remind yourself where you feel that position is the best. If you don't feel like listening to me, that's cool too. Man. Y'all don't live here, it doesn't hurt my feelings. All right, so when I tell them to, what we're going to do is we're going to brace, and then we're just going to watch a squat. So anytime I have not seen someone squat before, I want to see what they're working with for starting. Does that make sense? All right, yeah, take your time.
Shane Hooper.
Dive in there. Dive.
All right, so anytime I watch a squat, I like to watch it from the side so you guys are benefiting from the same view. All right, let's brace and just do one squat and then put the bars out and take a break. Hit it.
One at a time?
Yeah.
You can go first off.
All right, up. All right, what didn't we hear?
Breathing.
Yeah, all right. Give me another brace. It's okay, I'll just put it on the spot. All right, you can put the bar down for it. Okay, and up, put the bar down for it. All right, so two things that I saw as a coach. One, did everyone see what her shoulders did in the hole?
Rounded.
Rounded and lean that bar forward, which is why you felt that weight shift up to your little piggies on the way up. Okay. For you, your knees came all the way forward and your back stayed very vertical.
Okay.
So what that means is you loaded your quads. All right, so 3/4 of what we do as coaches, right? And I already said it a little bit, but I'm going to hit it one more time because it's very important. Look for what shouldn't be moving and stop it from moving.
Yeah.
Make sense? All right, so one more time, just one at a time.
Great job, Adam.
All right. Very nice and loud for me. All right, makes me feel better. I like it when people are listening. There we go. All right, so hips back a half inch, hips back, a little more. All right, now bend at the knees. Knees out, knees out, knees out, knees out, and up. A little bit better. What I want you to do now is I want you to try and make as many turns as possible throughout the entire range of that squat, okay? So what I do is I give her a cue that's going to get her head farther back, and that's gonna keep a bigger chest. If I say big chest to her right now, see how she's squatting high bar? If I say big chest, elbows come in, bar rolls off back. So, I'm telling you, make as many chins as you can. There we go, all right. So, we're gonna brace, we're gonna chin, and we're gonna squat, okay? There you go, all right. Hit it. Get mad at that light. You're a professional. Get mad at that light. All right, hips back, knees, and up. All right, we got a little bounce in the hole there. Good job, thank you. Put that down. All right, so what we saw on her was knee motion. All right, so one more time. All right, so what she had is knee motion. So what I'm going to try and do is I'm going to cue her into a more vertical, not perfectly vertical, but more vertical shin position. So what I want you to do right now is all right. So brace, do that cue, and then squat.
Okay.
All right.
The giggles up here, it's fine.
There it is. Money up. All right, put it back down. That's all we needed. So I don't know a church-appropriate way to give that particular cue. All right, but what I normally say is pretend you're in a crowded room and you have to poop, and you don't want anyone to hear it. And you do that little, try and open them up a little bit so they don't flap. That's how we got that weight to stay on her glutes the whole time, and those knees weren't shooting and rocking around. All right? So what we want to do as coaches, see what's moving that is not driving that bar up, and find a way to get it to stop moving. All right. So for the next 20 minutes, 21 minutes that I have, break up into your groups, coach each other through this motion. Y'all are coaches, you know what to look for, you know what should and should not be moving. I'll be bouncing around. Does anyone have any questions for the good of group before we break? Yes, ma'am.
Preference over low bar or high bar?
The question is preference over low bar or high bar, whichever one you feel better with.
Okay.
Doesn't matter. So I squat raw with knee wraps, and I squat equipped, multiply. My bar moves based off of what kind of equipment I'm using. So for your biomechanics, I'm an optical illusion. I'm 5'11", I have a 29-inch inseam, I'm 86% torso. So my bar position changes based off of where I'm set up. So if you want to squat more weight, that's something you can work on one-on-one with an individual coach and figure out. You feel free to ask me which is better for you when I'm coming around. But for right now, bar position on your back, if you can get your lats tight, then that's a good position, all right? And I'm talking try and bend that bar into an N across your back. All right? Yes?
That was a big cue for us. Learning to brace the thoracic.
Do you want me to go over that real quick?
I would love it. And then the final request, if you're willing, is could you perform a couple squats and show us?
Okay, yeah.
You brace was huge.
Of course. All right, so which one of you feels like more punishment? Actually, let me get someone I haven't picked on up here yet. Let me get one more. Come on, let's go. Quick like a bunny.
Do you want me to go back down?
Thank you very much. I made you take your shoes off for nothing. All right, face that, face that.
No.
All right, so one of the biggest cues that helped out my Trinity, Colorado Springs friends is bending this bar, or however you want to say it, it's bracing your back, okay? So what I want you to do is just hit me one squat real quick. All right. Everyone see that shaky part about 1/3 of the way down? What's happening there is this lever is extending and becoming longer. And those muscles that keep this lever straight are going like, oh, crud, I gotta get tighter. All right, that's what that shaking is. So what I want you to do is after you brace, pinch my fingers right here. Pinch it. There you go, right there. So after you brace, that's how tight I want you to get your back, and then do another squat. Okay? All right, hit it. There you go. Yep. And up. See that smooth motion? So all I do is I take the cue that works for the most people is I take two fingers and I put one at the bottom insertion of each lat, right up against the rib cage, and I tell them to squish my finger with their lats. That's going to get about 80% of your people with healthy asterisks, with healthy shoulders, into a proper. You're good, man. Thank you. Put that back on. Sorry. That's going to get about 80% of your clientele into a position where their back is tight. That's all it is. 2 fingers underneath the lats, next to the rib cage. Tell them squish your fingers. All right. All right. Let's break up into groups. Sorry. One more question. What's up?
If you see an athlete that has butt wink in the bottom of their squat, is that a zeroing their squat issue or a bracing issue?
So we talk. Whose butt wink did we talk about over here? It was somebody. Hers. Was it yours? Someone readjusted their feet and their butt wink stopped. I don't know who it was. Yeah, there we are. All right. So it's not a bracing thing. It is a hip mobility thing. That being said, you can minimize that butt wink with positioning and bracing. If you need help with mobility, I know a guy that you should probably talk to. All right, let's break up into groups. Yes. What's up? Oh, okay. Oh. It's been about 2 years since I've got under a power bar. The bars I squat with are actually a lot longer than this. And my shoulders are freaking cold. But, so, first thing I do is I get in my position. And just down and up. That's it. I can't show you. It takes me about 35 minutes to get into a power bar because my shoulder mobility is trash. But that's it. It's the bigger and harder you brace, the more weight you're going to be able to move. Promise.
When you come back up, should you pop up as quickly as you can, or?
So, remember how earlier I said power and strength are different, right? Do you guys know the power force time thingy, right? So power is force over time, right? Or distance over time, sorry. So I come up fast because I am not a strong athlete, I'm a powerful athlete. And the quicker I can get that bar off my back, the better I am. Does that make sense? For right now, feeling your groove, go slow. Pay attention on what muscles are firing, what's working in conjunction with what else, and what isn't moving that should be, and what is moving and should be. Make sense?
Yep.
All right, let's go. Got 14 minutes.
Your first one you bounce. So your bounce is your power out of the shot. You're losing that momentum. You stand back up. You're allowing you would pull in your squat and then brace my core back up first, inch and a half, and then go into the spot. Get that hard. Actually, did you find your spot? Because you are a little wide right now. It's different, but it's, try not to do what feels comfortable for you. We've already started
Taking it down the road, it's like really let those moves fire. As you push back, that's really fire.
That looks good.
Did you feel it for those your quads?
All right, everybody. Gather up. Come here. Let's end my portion of this morning's festivities.
Johnny, stay with us the whole day.
Yes.
Oddly enough, in about 35 minutes, I have to drive that way and run my food truck. So I am sorry. If anyone wants to come by for lunch,
What is it?
I run a pastry truck. So today I have macarons, cannoli, and tiramisu. If everyone wants to come, Woodman and Powers, there's a Walmart there right in the parking lot. There's about 8 food trucks there today. Come on by for lunch. It takes maybe about 10 minutes to get there. Shameless self-plug. Thank you for giving me your time. I appreciate it. If anyone has any questions or anything for the good of the group, can I take like 5 more minutes?
Yeah, dude. Absolutely.
Anyone got questions? Hands up? Nope? We cool? I've literally answered every question about squatting you guys have ever had. Man, I'm good. All right. Well, thank you guys for your time. I appreciate it.